This is a video all about grips for throwing a Frisbee. So for forehand, we can hold it in the power grip. That's 2 fingers on the rim, thumb squeezes on top, and then the other 2 fingers provide support on the rim. For this, we can put our fingers into the shape of a gun, our fingers along the rim on the inside, thumb on top. We want to make sure that there's no space when the Frisbee comes in between our thumb and our index finger. I want to have a really tight grip on that. So what I want to think about is, as the disc pulls back, I feel resistance from these 2 fingers. And then as I snap forward with my fingers, I'm now holding it in the form of a power grip, which is good for backhand. And so for this grip, call it a power grip because all the fingers are underneath the rim, the thumb is on top, and the position of the index finger really depends on the thrower. For me, I like to have it not super tight like that. I like to have kind of like that. That's just personal preference. I just find that I get more power from that. I find a lot of the power comes from my thumb squeezing on top and having a nice tight grip on it. You'll find some people, the split finger grip, will put their index finger along the rim. Some people say that's good for beginners, but eventually I find that this grip is better for everybody, so I definitely recommend starting with this grip. And so if we call this a split finger for a backhand, then we'll call this a split finger grip for a forehand. And again, same thing. I find a lot of people start off with this because they think it's easier to start throwing. But I find that this is a grip that's going to be better for your throw, so I think that you should start with this grip. And really, if you throw with a split finger, when you snap your disc, this index finger is going to be coming down along the rim anyway. So it's better to just throw like that to begin with. Some people talk about putting 3 fingers along the rim. I definitely don't find that to be a benefit at all. I find 2 fingers is just fine. And I find 2 fingers is awesome because you have 2 fingers underneath the disc, 2 fingers along the rim providing support. And with this disc, I can throw full field, so I don't really see the advantage of throwing with 3 fingers at all. I don't find it balances the disc very well. With backhand, really other than the split finger and the power grip, there's really no other grips that I've seen that worked. So if you want to throw a push pass, you can hold the disc in 2 ways. Hold it essentially like a backhand, the index finger along the rim, which is what I promote. And then as you're throwing that push pass, then you're going to be snapping and it's going to be releasing off your index finger. It's going to be the last finger. Some people as well will hold it like a power grip. And I find that's more if it's going to be a higher throw, because it's easier to bend your wrist for that. I find with the index finger, if it's going to be a shorter throw and lower throw, it's going to be better with the index finger along the rim. So again, kind of hold like that or like that for push pass. For a scoober and a hammer, I hold it exactly the same way as I throw a forehand. So again, that tight grip, so if I pull back on the disc, I'm going to feel resistance from my 2 fingers. So for scoober snapping, really hard snap for a scoober, and then for a hammer, same thing, hard snap. Hold it the same as I do a forehand. For thumber grip, there's a few different ways you can hold a thumber grip. You can hold it just with your thumb underneath, and having your index finger providing support underneath on this side. You can hold it with all 4 fingers. Some people call it a squanto. I find this throw is better if you want to throw a lower thumber. If you want to throw a higher thumber, I find that just thumb underneath, fingers like that, and then you're throwing it like a football player throws is good. For a high release backhand, I find just holding it like a normal backhand is good. I don't like holding it a split finger grip. I find it easier to bend your wrist and get more snap on it. I find the high release is all about getting a lot of snap on the disc. And finally, for a high release forehand, I like to hold it just like I hold a forehand, except for this you're going to have to bend your wrist a bit and have it coming off higher. So this throw and the high release backhand are really the only throws that I support breaking the wrist instead of having it nice and level, that you can actually move your wrist around. But in general, for all the other throws, I really support keeping your wrist the same and then just moving your arm around. So for these, you can hold it that kind of grip.